Everybody in the world talks better than I do. This stupid accent from South Carolina, and most folks look a lot better than I do. But nobody will ever be with you tonight or any other night that owe you what I do. Owe you my life. Had them in from warriors like represented here tonight. Most of them did a whole lot more and a lot longer than I did. I wouldn't be here. If it hadn't been for an 18-year-old wife that loved me, cared for me, gave me a reason to will to live, I'd be dead tonight. I'm here to say thank you, and I'm truly honored to be with you. I'm sorry my wife's not with me. Believe me, she's a lot easier to look at than I am. She's a beauty queen in South Carolina. My wife and daughter were mother-daughter Miss America a few years ago. I know what you're thinking. So, man, you like any Marine ever met, you're lying to start with. How in the world somebody ugly as you marry a beauty queen? Well, I was a football coach in high school, later a college coach, but in high school I married my cheerleader. You do that today, you go straight to jail, I guarantee you. But we've been at it 53 years, and the Lord bless us with 2 daughters and 5 great children, and we've really been blessed. I didn't have to go to Vietnam. I was a college coach. I had a team in high school, unscored on, undefeated. I was coaching with Paul Diesel in South Carolina. This same weekend, we had our first ball game. We didn't win but one that year. Carolina doesn't win many. I sat on the bench at Clemson years ago, but after the game, I saw somebody do something I hope I never see again in person. A young man burned the American flag. You heard about a walk-on on the college campus? I was a walk-off. Monday morning, I went into Coach Diesel's office and I'm going to Paris Island. I'm joining the Corps. I was 26 years old. Coach looked at me and said, "You crazy." A few days later, I met Sergeant Ford from Randall, Kentucky, and Coach was right. But I endured some Marine training. My goal was to be a gunnery sergeant. They needed officers. They sent me to Quantico, made a retarded lieutenant out of me, and sent me to Vietnam. Wrote a book about it, made a movie about it. But I'd like to share with you my last patrol real briefly. Had a recon team. We'd go in an area that very few men had been. Instead of going with a 6-man team, we went in with 13 men. Landed on a small tea plantation in the middle of a large valley. As we landed, we found punchy pits, booby traps, mines, but we were very fortunate. Nobody was killed sitting there on the hill. I cleared a punchy pit, got the bottom of that. Had my radio man McCormick dig a foxhole to my left, 3 men in a foxhole to my right. About 50 yards behind me, a bomb had exploded, left a hole in the ground, and I put 8 men in the edge of that crater, thinking it'd have a good bit of protection. About 12 o'clock that night, I thought I heard some enemy movement at the bottom of the hill. I grabbed my shotgun, a Winchester Model 12 pump, crawled out of the punchy pit, started making my way to the right to see if these men had heard anything. Before I got to them, a grenade came in. It exploded, hit me here in the neck and in the shoulder. Like any other brave lieutenant, I'd jump back in a hole I'd crawled out of. Started calling for artillery and air support opposition. While I was on radio, about 10 or 12 enemy, what we call a SAPA unit, known, better known to y'all probably as a suicide squad, like these terrorists they got today. These men had grenades tied around their waist, they had grenades in each hand and pins pulled. Just right up a hill, exploding, killing themselves, trying to kill us. As you can imagine, we were shooting as fast as we could. Walking right in front of me, I shot him. His moment among the hole with me, as he fell in, he had something in his hands about the size of one of your ladies' pocketbooks. It was a satchel charge, full of explosion. He came in over this and exploded, blew the 2 of us out of the punchy pit. I go through there, I reached back for my shotgun, realized the blast had blown my left arm off, just above my elbow. Looked to my left, my radio man, McCormick, were dead or unconscious. At the time, I wasn't sure which. Heard my 3 men in the right crowd. What happened to a grenade in their foxhole? A young Marine, PFC Ralph Johnson, Charleston, South Carolina, only South Carolina in a hat. Ralph jumped on a grenade, smothered with his stomach, blew himself in half. Saved my life, life of 2 Marines with him. His family later received the nation's highest award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. 40 or 50 years ago, we named the VA hospital in Charleston after him. 12 years ago, a street in Charleston after him. 2 years ago, the Commandant and 6,500 people came, and we named a $4 billion destroyer that's stationed in Seattle, Washington after him. I appreciate that. Yeah. But that night, I tried to get over to him with a crawl that way. Another grenade came in. As I did, I threw my hands up. This arm was off, right hand covered, right eye, grenade exploded. Blew my left eye out, nose off, teeth on the left side out, both eardrums out. Lost most of use of my right hand. Things looked pretty tough. I figured my only chance getting the cradle had 8 men fighting. Tried to live for the ball cradle. Before I got there, a grenade hit me in the legs. I lay there, it seemed like hours. I don't know how long it passed, y'all, but I never wanted to live so bad all my life. If I could just see my men get off that hill alive. If I could see my bride one more time. Heard the movement behind me, and said, it's over now. As I got close, I heard something go, Lieutenant, Lieutenant. Recognized the voice, 18-year-old Marine I had from Alaska, Rod Hunter. Rod knelt by my feet, we just picketed me off and came up a hill. Bob Lucas from Fort Worth, Texas. Bob got a radio, called for choppers. Pilot said he couldn't get there daylight. We said, tell him forget it. We've been throwing rocks down the side of the hill, out of grenades, wanted by be had daylight. Pilots reconsidered. 3 a.m. the first bird landed. But with 2 dead, 5 wounded, the next choppers that lifted, the next one landed. The rest of my men grabbed hold. As that bird lifted, about 150 MBA covered the hill. 5 more minutes, nobody got down there alive. Flows to Marble Mountain, and surgery there, from there to Japan, from there to Bethesda, Maryland. Go from 178 to about 110 pounds. They said, son, your best to go home on leave. Came to my wife's hometown, Florence, South Carolina, and read the paper. One of my heroes, Bobby Richardson, second baseman, New York Yankees, was going to be there that night. Vondie K. Van Dyke, former Miss America from Arizona. I'm a country boy from South Carolina, but I ain't totally stupid. I turned to my wife and I sure like to go see Bobby Richardson. We went out that night to the stadium. Bobby and Vondie K. got up and shared as I have tonight. Billy Zioli, President Ford's personal chaplain from Muskegon, Michigan, brought a message that God used to change our lives. You may think that my men suffered that night on that hill that I suffered. My wonderful wife has suffered. 46 operations we've been through and almost 3 years in the hospital. You suffer, don't you? Broken home situation, drinking problem, drug problem, injury, sickness, illness, death in the family, maybe a layoff, a financial struggle. But then I found our Bibles become our most prized possession. Romans chapter 5, verses 3 through 5 says we rejoice in our suffering. Because suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character. Character produces hope. Hope doesn't disappoint us. Because God's love is poured into our hearts. In those verses, the word character, and y'all, I believe character is a great word, but I've done schools in all 50 states, and to get into public school these days, you got to have a theme, and I go in with a drug and alcohol theme. I said, come on, man, you went about Vietnam vets, you had a drug problem? Let me tell you, I had a serious, serious drug problem. My daddy drugged me to work, drugged me to school, drugged me to church, drugged me to practice. I wish more young people had that same daddy. Young people, we made a big mistake in this country. We meant well, but what have we done? We tried to give our youngsters everything that money can buy. I think we ought to give them some things money can't buy, things this community stands for. Honesty, integrity, loyalty, discipline, commitment, manners. Fellas, stand up when a lady comes in the room. Open the door for a lady, close the door, pull it your eye, push it back. And girls, let them do it. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you. God bless you. I love you. And 2 dead and 11 wounded at 13. I wasn't too good a leader. My men that could physically walk came through that mass unit one at a time just to get a last look, just to tell me bye. I started to say they were crying, but Marines, man, we tough. We don't cry, but the eyeballs were sweating pretty good. And they lay a plaque down by me, and on that plaque it said, in this world of give and take, there are not enough people willing to give what it takes. What an honor to be in Sheridan with wonderful folks like you, preparing yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. willing to give what it takes for our faith, for our flag, for our families, man, you warriors, our freedom, you young people, our future. The way of life we know and enjoy so well because of great folks like you. It's been an honor to be with you. Thank you.